Hello there. If you can hear my space heater, pretend like you can't. Christmas is approaching very fast, and I don't really celebrate Christmas anymore. I definitely did a lot as a kid because I grew up in a Christian household, but nowadays, it's kind of whatever. However, I know a lot of the people around me do still celebrate Christmas, including the child that I teach skating to. He's a really sweet kid, so I decided I was going to go ahead and get him some Christmas presents, because we're going to go on a little bit of a break for the holidays and I won't be able to see him again until the new year. I did buy some gifts, but also because I've been having to sit at home and not do anything and not really supposed to be walking around without crutches, I decided I was going to make him a gift too. Also, if you don't follow my TikTok, my knee is jacked up, which is why I cannot walk without crutches. I'll probably make a more in-depth video about that later on. Anyway, so I basically haven't really been allowed to move for a while, so I decided I was going to go back to trying some sewing. I haven't done sewing in a very long time, so it was a little bit challenging, but I decided I was going to make him a shirt. He really loves dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are one of his favorite things. So I got a neat dinosaur print fabric, and then at the fabric store I also got a pattern for a shirt, and then it was just time to start. I took the pattern and I cut out all of the parts I needed to make the shirt. Then I laid them all on the fabric, making sure to cut out the right amount of each of my pieces. Now this fabric has a pattern on it, has dinosaurs on it, and for some reason when I was just looking at it, I thought they were kind of randomly scattered. I didn't realize there was an actual directional nature to the fabric. So when I was cutting out the pieces, I didn't account for the pattern because I thought they were facing random directions, not all in one direction. So for the main body of the shirt, the dinosaurs are all facing sideways. Whoops, but that's literally all of my fabric. But after I have all my pieces cut out, it was time to assemble the shirt. Something very fun that I found out as I started to sew is that my sewing machine was broken. Now, I don't really know if it's the foot pedal itself or the machine itself, but hand cranking it worked fine, but anytime I tried to use the pedal, it just wouldn't work at all. So I did spend several hours trying to figure out what was wrong with it. I was on the phone with the support for the sewing machine company, and they basically told me you're screwed. Take it in to get it professionally fixed, which I don't have the money or time to do that. So instead I hand cranked for a long time. So it is currently day 2 on this project. This lighting looks awful. Anyways, it's day 2 on making the shirt for my student. As I've probably already said, my machine is broken, so I have to hand crank it for it to sew. So that's where I am at this. I still want to get it done because the last time I see him before Christmas is tomorrow. I have all day to do this. I went and got my MRI done today, and then I have a follow-up on Monday, and then that'll determine my knee thing. But since I have all today to do nothing, and I'm not really supposed to be walking around, I'm supposed to just be sitting, I'm going to sit and hand crank the shirt, and hopefully it'll work. I have blisters all over my hands from just turning the knob for several hours. But I was very determined to get it finished because I only had one more lesson before he was gone for the holidays. So I wanted to make sure I got it done before then. So I put on Avatar: The Last Airbender and just started working. I don't think I have any footage of it, but I did eventually swap it out for a different sewing machine I have. That sewing machine didn't work either. So after fighting with 2 different sewing machines, I had to take another pause because I had to take my roommate to work. And I figured, you know what, I should ask. So I did. I asked my roommate, hey, do you have a sewing machine I can borrow? And they did. So it is the same day. I just changed clothes because it's fucking cold. My roommate gave me a sewing machine that actually works, that they had just sitting around. So I'm gonna get rid of this one, or just put it away. I ordered some parts for it. Hopefully that'll fix it, and then hopefully I can actually finish this project in a timely manner for tomorrow instead of just hand cranking it. I already have a blister on my thumb. Anyways, I'll update later when I'm doing the hard parts like the buttons. So I got back from taking them home from work. It was about 5 o'clock at night, the day before I was supposed to give this present to my skating child, and I plugged their sewing machine in and it worked great. Now that I had a working sewing machine, things were flying by. I went over all of my old stitching because since it was just a single stitch, it wasn't held together very well. So I went over it again with the sewing machine with a better stitch, a stronger stitch. So basically I redid all the progress I had made and then just finished it out. After I had everything together, the next problem was buttonholes, because I've never been good at doing buttonholes by hand. And I looked up a bunch of different tutorials of how to do it with a sewing machine, and it just looked so complicated, and I was getting very stressed out when, luckily for me, my roommate's sewing machine has a buttonhole setting. So, I realized I forgot to record the last few steps, but the shirt's done. I just need to add some buttons and some fanciness to it. And I just finished up the buttonholes because luckily on the sewing machine that my roommate let me borrow, it has like a whole setting just for helping sew the buttonholes, because that's what I was most worried about because I'm not the best at sewing. But it has like a whole separate like setting for how to do the buttonhole stitches properly, and I measured them properly so the buttons actually do slide through them right. My only thing left is I have to actually sew on the buttons, and I think I'm officially done after that. I guess we'll see if there's anything else I need to add, but I'm pretty sure I'm done after that. So it was actually very easy to do. After I got the stitching for the buttonholes, I cut out the actual hole itself. Then I took some of my embroidery floss and sewed the buttons on using that so that I only had to do like one pass instead of like 15. Made sure they were a little bit loose so it wouldn't be a pain in the ass to get the buttons to work. I also embellished the pocket with a button, and also I embellished the sleeves with a button. It's definitely not the best shirt. It's not anywhere near a mass-produced shirt, but it was a lot of fun to make, and I think I did pretty good for my first time sewing in 5 or 6 years. I did want to make one for his brother too, because they kind of do everything together, but because 2 out of 3 of the sewing machines I was using decided to not work, I did run out of time. I got through 1.5 seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender before I finished this shirt, and I finished it around midnight the day before I was supposed to give it to him, so we made it, but barely. And I was very happy that he was very happy to receive it. I definitely want to do more sewing projects in the future. I have some extra fabric, I just need to find patterns. Patterns are kind of the things that I have to like go out and find because they're very expensive. But that's all I have for this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.